less structurally sound. So instead, I used some dowels, and that made things nice and sturdy.
What are we going to
I
use
also use
as
this
a...
airbrushing turntable to make working on this thing a lot easier. One of the
Alright, what
things
are we
that
using for
Tinu
the top
sent
of
me
the
in
tent?
his box were these awesome rows of audience members. I constructed the frames for the bleachers on either end.
Scatter.
using a
Ganon,
piece
get
of
your
balsa
ass
wood,
back here. Also, that's not
making it into a
scattering.
little
That's just
A-frame.
popping. Chat,
And
say
then
hi
I
to
glued the
Ganon.
rows of
Say hi to
people
Ganon right now.
into groups of 3.
Say hi to
Well, I
Ganon.
had a full audience. Next, it was time to figure out the tent cover. I used this nice thin fabric instead of tissue, which seems to be the other popular option.
I
while
would not have
making
used tissue
miniature
for
tents.
this. That would have driven me insane.
I started by cutting up some long, thin strips to wrap around the side poles and act as the tent walls.
Scatter casual.
I
Don't
used
you
super
scatter
glue
with him.
and superglue accelerator to quickly get the walls up and leave a nice impression of where the supports were behind the fabric.
Oh.
Next, I cut up a large piece of the fabric for the big top. I used the same superglue and superglue accelerator trick to wrap the fabric around the top. I then sprayed on some isopropyl alcohol,
Throwing it
covered
back
the
in my
fabric
private
with
work
Mod
office.
Podge
Oh my
to give
god.
it rigidity. I also
Hi.
pinched the fabric overhang in a few places and attached
Oh,
some
you wanna
strings to
use
look
the
like anchor
emote.
points for the top.
I need to figure out why it's not working
As you
properly.
can see, I left the back of the diorama open in order to allow for the show to be seen within. I dry fit the crowd into place, and then I stuck down some bent balsa to act as the ring.
Okay.
And once that was down, I covered all of the foam with a mixture of Mod Podge and acrylic paint.
Okay,
I covered
because it
the
was usually
interior
sandy.
first, and then I worked on the outside.
Traveling show doesn't have a floor. Makes sense.
I left that to dry overnight, and I took the whole tent outside and I gave it a spray prime before moving on to the painting.
Ooh.
I used some masking tape to make some wedges and mask off sections of the tent in order to create the classic alternating red and white circus pattern. The combination of airbrush and masking
Ooh.
tape is incredibly satisfying.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about. I think it's the primer that he put on that's now like layered onto the tent. It doesn't look super great.
There was a bit of overspray with the red, so I went back and I cleaned up all the white sections with more white paint.
Okay.
I also masked off and extended the red and white pattern down to the walls of the tent. And after that, I painted the base with an earthy base color. I made the
Drone
earth
cam.
inside the tent a
Ah,
tad
yes,
darker
the good old the
than
Midwest
outside
drone
color.
cam. The old Western drone cam. I bet you get
I
that
took more of
definitely
that
isn't a
same
distraction.
fabric that
Put the
tent was
rat
made
away,
from. I
Ganon. Put
covered
the
it in
rat
Mod
away.
Podge, made a little flag to go on top.
Did someone
of
say
the circus
catter?
tent.
No, somebody
Also
did
added
not
a
say
little ball
meow.
on the top of the pole,
Bad.
and I moved on to the figures.
Okay.
I started with Tinu on his steed Brambles, and I painted him the same way that he's dressed in the animations over in his video. Like I said at the beginning, this Buffalo show is a traveling show. Goes from town to town, entertaining the locals with reenactments of what a hunt in the wild imaginary West is
Oh,
kinda
right.
like.
We saw the,
The show
fucking
is a
dude
little
with the red
close
hair.
to home and more
But it's a
relatable to these
mischief.
town
A
folk
whole mischief.
than the people
A
back
whole
east,
mischief,
but
Ganon.
they still enjoy the show.
Not today.
And of course, maybe they buy some snake oil before or after the show.
I probably would have done the
Once I was
beard
done with the two main
first.
characters, I painted the rest of the crew off camera.
You bastard.
The paint job for this terror bird
I
was
wanted to see the
inspired in
paint
part
job.
by the secretary bird, another long-legged predatory bird that is slightly
The
smaller
secretary birds
and
are really
not
cool.
extinct. And don't worry, this bird is very intelligent, and it actually enjoys playing along with its co-stars. It knows that it's all for show.
Uh-huh.
I then painted the custom war wagon, which was very nicely detailed.
Oh my
Some
god,
nice
not the
greeblies on it.
meows. It's a
Also
whole
painted
ass
the team
mischief.
of
God
horses,
damn it.
and I
God
glued the
damn
crew
it.
in place. It came with a harpoon gunner, a driver, and two guys riding shotgun.
Wait, I don't know how I feel about
Also
the
glued some
harpoon gunner.
reins from the driver to each of the
What are they
horses and
harpooning?
moved on to the snake oil wagon. The wagon has a paid armed guard who sits on the roof in case anybody tries to get a refund. I also went back and I painted the flag with a bright red, and I dusted up the ground around the tent as well as the tent itself to to give it some age and weathering.
Okay.
After I had stuck down
Not
some
the
sand
mouse.
inside the ring,
Oh my god,
glued
not
it
the
in place
jamming
with some
mouse
isopropyl
either.
alcohol and watered
Beep,
down
beep,
glue,
beep, chop, chop.
I prepped some little LEDs
Oh my
to
goodness.
act as stage lights, which I glued around the inside of the ring.
Okay.
I then put all of the audience members into their positions, and I glued the show together.
Saying that it's, what's his name? Tinu gonna be in the back? Holy shit, he's huge! That's not how big
I also
terror
glued
birds
the
are.
snake oil exhibition outside, and I began adding some custom posters
Aaron, when I pass her of mischief,
were
just
sent to
shake
me
it and
by
then
Tinu.
yeet it into orbit.
designed by his wife.
Oh.
After I had cut out a few of the posters using an X-Acto knife, I peeled off the backing from the sticker paper. I stuck some of them to the side of the tent. Then I also went into town and did some advertising on the buildings.
Oh, right. He had a separate section that was the
At the beginning
town.
of the month, I was in New Orleans and had dinner with Tinu and his wife, and they sent me
New
home
Orleans.
with this awesome gift.
Holy
This
shit.
is an original of one of
That
those
is,
little
that
posters
is not a good
made
Snake
by
John.
McGuire Art,
That is not a good
as
Snake
well
John.
as the official poster for the Tinu Buffalo Show, made by Adam
Hell yeah.
Bartley.
Frame it, put it in the workshop.
I took this awesome poster, I shrunked the kids did, and I attached some posts to the back, and I went and I glued it outside the venue.
Oh.
The last thing to do was to paint the sides of the
What do you mean I'm not
diorama
the
with
biggest
black
terror bird,
3.0.
Aaron? You're definitely not
I
as
called
big
it
as a
good.
terror bird, Ganon. Like 2 feet max. 2 feet max. Here's everything. Come on down, get your snake oil. Hi, Tara. Aaron, I got nuggies, but they sent me ranch instead of barbecue sauce. Ugh. Fast food ranch is disturbing. Oh, they were on the ground. I thought they were going to hang them from the tent. But I guess that makes sense. Ah, that makes sense. God, that's a huge terror bird.
That is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks again.
Hiyo, I am the Terra bird. Gotcha, Terra bird. Oh my goodness. All right. That's the lasso hobbier again. Let's see if he has any other deep pores. Using real amethyst. Okay, it has my curiosity. I'm sorry, chat. I gotta
How's
see
it
the
going,
real
everyone?
amethyst.
Welcome back to Boileye Hobby Time. This week I made a scene of some miners exploring a cave somewhere in the Rocky Mountains.
I
And
am
had
the
a
sad
pretty
gonna
great
eat dried
crafting
nuggies.
material to work with.
You don't have any sauces at home? Wait. Do you have any mayonnaise? If you
I
have
was talking
mayonnaise
with
in the
my friend
house
Jeremiah the other
and
day, who has a channel called
maybe some
Lights, Camera,
garlic, maybe some
Ants.
sriracha.
He suggested I build a diorama using real crystals.
if you have
or geodes.
sriracha and or
I thought
honey,
that
you
was
can
a
make a pretty
great
good
idea.
sauce with just mayonnaise,
So I went
or
to the
you could
rock
take the
store and I
ranch
bought
and
some.
make a honey sriracha ranch.
The first thing I had to figure out was how to suspend the amethyst and organize
It's my
the
favorite
pieces to
easy
look like a little
dipping sauce
cave.
to make at
So I
home.
got out some pieces of wood.
You can make it
to
with ranch
frame.
or just with mayonnaise to kind of sort of make an aioli.
I used a thicker piece
Throw
for
some
the
garlic
base
in if
and
you
I used
want.
2 thinner pieces for
Garlic.
the back wall. I applied some wood glue to all of the faces that needed some bonding time, and after I had spread out the glue, I squeezed everything together with some clamps.
Okay.
While the glue was drying, I started plotting out the form of this crystal cave. I had 2 large bowl pieces that I knew would make up the majority of the cave, so I decided on their
Oh.
positioning first.
I miss doing woodworking.
I used hot glue
Woodworking
to hold the
always
rocks
seems
in
like fun,
place and
too.
secured them with either super glue or UV resin to make sure that they were nice and sturdy. I also added a small support to help bear the weight of the upper
Lean
rock.
on me
The weight is spread between the
when
support,
you're not
wall,
strong.
and the other geode. I then filled in some of the gaps around the outside, and I rounded off the shape of the cave with some of the smaller clusters.
Okay.
I also broke up the long, thin, standalone crystals that I had by smacking them with a hammer.
Nice.
That way, I could use both the large, colorful side and the gray side instead of just one or the other.
Ah. Smack.
I stuck all the
Smack?
shards around the formation like teeth, which hopefully gave the cave a little bit of extra personality and character.
That's kind of
At
what
this
I saw.
point,
I thought it looked
glue on
really
the base
cool.
was cured, so I was able to remove those clamps. In the Rocks and Minerals section at the Museum of Nature and Science in Denver, there is a large rock exhibit with a lot of stalactites and stalagmites. There's a section at the back of the exhibit that is pitch black, and this mysterious void always scared me as a kid. So I decided to add something similar to this diorama using Black 3.0. I painted it on at this point so I could reach everything, and I didn't worry about messing anything up later.
I wonder what he's going to use to fill in the gaps to make it a little cleaner.
Paper to create some lightweight mass to fill in all the gaps around the rocks.
Okay.
I had quite a bit of fun going to town with all of the paper and stuffing it into all of the gaps. And off camera, I also rounded off the top section of the back wall with my bandsaw.
More off-camera shenanigans! How dare you? I want to watch.
Once I had the paper wads all stuck in place, it was time to add some rocks made in the form of plaster rock shards. These are all leftovers from my train build.
Okay.
I glued the plaster rocks around the amethyst teeth like hard white plaster gums. The step was a little time consuming, but it was quite fun.
I don't know.
Putting together a mosaic.
I don't know. I'm not liking it so far. Looking a little...
After that, it was time to repair some of the cracks in this receding plaster gum
Looking a
line
little,
with more plaster.
Just a tiny bit. Is that a squeak?
I mixed up some perfect plaster.
Did he add a squeak in?
I did not add any paint or Mod Podge, just water.
New York exports most of the country's garnet from our mines up north.
Around the wooden base, as well as some of the more
what do people use garnet for besides? Is it just jewelry? Does garnet have other uses?
The edges with my finger. And after the plaster was dry,
okay, there we go.
Some paint. The idea with the paint was to mimic the bluish green ring that sits around the amethyst geode. So I painted on a line of green, and then I followed it up and blended it with a line of blue.
Okay. That's meaning industrial uses? What's it used for?
I then gave the rocks a few different colors of dark washes, and I painted up the rest of the white areas with black.
Ooh. Okay, so it was just filler. I was like, he said it was for filler, but it was like,
are you gonna? The process was to give everything a light gray dry brush, followed by a pure white dry brush to bring out the edges of those rocks.
Ooh, okay.
I was pretty happy with how that was looking, so it's time to move on to the figures.
How many figures?
I wanted one of the miners to have a little lantern to help illuminate the cave for himself and his exploring buddies. I used a tiny LED and I drilled a hole in the guy's hand, and I passed the wire through it. I glued the wires to the back of his arm.
Cutting drilling for use in lasers? Yeah, it's a pretty shiny rock. Huh. I thought garnet wasn't super hard. Like for drilling, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
The light.
Is garnet harder than I thought it was?
Styrene handles and a little bit of trim at the bottom to complete the little handbag lantern.
It's for sale at Coach.
Then I masked off the little lantern so I didn't ruin it. I got Bojo and his two buddies ready for painting.
Bojo?
Which means I took them outside and gave them a zenithal highlight.
Ooh.
Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the idea for this build was given to me by Light's Camera Ants. He's going to be building an ant habitat using some real amethyst clusters soon. So if you enjoy this build, and
that's kind of insane.
Head over to his channel and watch him build that. I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
Little Rant, my local grocer, does this custard bun with the chocolate drizzle and fancy powder sugar finish, and it's so good.
West, but the crystals that they have just found are just crystals, not a power source for their machines.
Like I said, bun is my midnight snack. Ooh, but is it going to be as good at midnight?
Everything just tends to be bigger.
I wonder, is it going to be as good if you wait till midnight?
I guess.
See the brother of Mojo Jojo? How do Australians say Mojo Jojo? Is it Mar Jar Jar Jar?
The miners looked like miners, and it was time to move on to the final steps.
Keep thinking that fucking video, and then it's just a poor girl crying.
I drilled a hole in the base, and I pulled the lantern wires through using a styrene rod like a little fish stick. It took a little finagling, but after a few tries, and luckily no broken wires, I was able to get them through. After they were through, I connected the wires to a battery pack, but I did that off camera.
More off-camera shenanigans. Hiding all the cool stuff.
All three of the miners in place using some super glue.
You think it's because he
very last
forgets to
thing to
record
do
it? And he's
is
just
to
like,
look
I
for
did
a
that off
place
camera on purpose.
Just to call it good.
Aircraft, motors, vehicles, ceramics, glass producers, electronic component manufacturers, filtration plants, glass polishing, petroleum, shipbuilders, textiles, stonewashing, and wood furniture finishing operations. 30 minutes fresh and still warm. Ooh, I bet he has an engineer trapped beneath his floorboards. I wouldn't doubt it. Can't show that it's not his hands doing all the electrical work.
That is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Huge shout out as always to my awesome patrons. You guys are the best. Hope you all have a great week.
Oh,
See
goodness.
you next time.
All right, I kind of want to... Hold on, let's see what we have. There's the Midwestern town again. Ooh, fishing anyone? Looks like he did a multi-layer thing going on here too. Getting an unwanted guest for Christmas. Town, cage for monsters. Ooh. He does a lot of Star Wars stuff. God damn. If you guys like Star Wars stuff, I recommend checking this guy out. It's at Boyle. Here, just in case anybody wants it, I'll put it in chat. There's the videos page. Crate Dragon diorama for Mandalorian. Ooh. My blood Boyle. I painted my drone. Ooh. Bridge sabotage diorama. Yeah, it looks like his whole shebang when he started is just like all Star Wars. Here, what was his newest thing? Star Wars. All right. Look at this one. No! How could this happen to me?
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Boylai Hobby Time.
August.
I often get asked if I make mistakes or errors while working on these projects, and I do. I make a lot of them. But in most cases,
not the Pyrex
I'm
dish.
able to resolve them or incorporate them into the build, or just find another way to finish the project in spite of them. But on this project, however, I failed catastrophically.
Okay.
I'm currently working on
because they said it's from 2020, which would make it one of his like earliest
Hopefully
videos.
I'll be able to get that out soon. In the meantime, I decided to take an opportunity to post this video of a project that I failed and talk about it.
You can also see how
and a
much
few
his
other
like
things.
cinematography has
The
changed.
project was based on The Old Man and the Sea. In case you're not familiar, it's a short but excellent story written by Ernest Hemingway about an old fisherman from Cuba.
Oh,
It
he's
highlights his
actually
battle
oh my god,
with
he's
the
actually
fish of
making a boat.
lifetime. He gets a giant marlin on the line. And it's also about his internal battle with his aging mind and body. The old man gets the fish on the line. He fights with it for a very long time. He knows it's huge, but then he brings it up to the surface. He's able to see it for the first time and is awestruck by the size of it. Wanted to take that moment and turn it into a diorama. It was my very first attempt at working with resin, and unfortunately it didn't go so well. The resin came with two sets of instructions. I guess one was instructions, the other one was more like a quick guide. And like a dingus, I only read the quick guide where it said mix equal parts. Weigh out the resin with a scale. So I just assumed that is how all resins work, and so when it said equal parts,
I left on the boat. It's gone. The stream's over.
Not by volume.
It's all over.
In this case, it was the volume, and the weight and the volume were very, very different. As you'll see later in the video,
Y'all took me away. Y'all took me away on the boat.
Resin mixed at a 1-to-1 ratio by weight. At the beginning, it wasn't that noticeable.
It's Jover.
But as I got towards the end of the bottle, I was able to see just how much hardener was left compared to the resin.
Uh-oh.
And that it was at that point that I realized my mistake. So I went back, I read the instructions, and I saw the by the volume note. So I mixed the last layer.
The man
by
made
volume,
the simplest mistake with
but that
resin.
was
Read the
only
instructions.
layer that cured properly. Because the top layer did cure properly, I actually didn't know that the project had failed completely until way later on after I took it out of the mold. I actually had some glimmer of hope at the beginning.
Oh, I'm kind of scared. I'm scared to see this.
Odd ratio would work
Oh, stop
somehow,
motion.
but that was just not the case.
Oh, that's cool.
I took it out of the mold, and it was gooey and sticky and running all over the place. And
like a
I left it
toddler
on
after
a sheet of wax paper on the counter for over a year, actually. And it is still as sticky and gooey today as it was when I made it.
Over a year?
So this was obviously a huge disappointment. I was not only sad to
Using
waste
the wire
all of the
as the shaping
expensive
method?
resin,
Interesting.
but it was probably more sad to waste all the time
Is this the-
spent on the
This is
boat.
gonna be the fish? Okay, it is
and
the marlin.
fishermen and the marlin that were permanently sealed in a sticky, resinous, undisplayable mess. This was by far the worst mistake that
I'm
I've made while working on one
sorry.
of these projects, in that the mistake
You can also
ruined
tell
the
that he hasn't
piece
been doing a lot of
itself,
clay stuff
making it
because
unusable.
he gets better over time. That
But
fish was
it didn't
not
cause
super
any bodily
great
harm,
compared to his
and
other
I
stuff.
actually learned quite a bit from it. So, in spite of the wasted time and materials, I actually think it turned out net neutral.
Did
Maybe
it?
even positive, especially considering that I am still able to use
Just say
the
how much
footage
you learned.
and talk about the mistake with you guys. If I'm honest,
just gonna be
I
the
know I
fishing
wasn't
rod.
completely satisfied with the sculpt of the old man or the marlin,
Yeah,
and
I can
I'm
see.
glad that I get a chance to remake them better someday. If the resin had cured, I would have called the project good,
Oh,
even if there were
oh
elements
God,
of
he
it
did
that
not
I
mix
didn't
it very
like.
well.
I would have called it
Oh,
good
look
because
at the bubbles.
it would have been
Oh,
a completed
no.
project. And a completed project, even if it isn't perfect,
Oh, it looks terrible.
good.
It's not even set,
that's why I like to call it
dude.
good at the end of each of my videos. I enjoy the process. I hopefully improve on my skills.
2 weeks of setting.
Maybe give someone some inspiration. And at the end, I'm ready to move on and create something new.
Oh, God, it's sticking to the thing. Oh,
When I saw that the resin was a little bit tacky, I should have immediately put on gloves. It had been 2 weeks, and the resin was supposed to be cured in 72 hours. So at this point, I knew
I
that
hate
the
it.
project
Oh,
was
I hate
toast.
it. I don't do sticky.
I got resin all over my hands, and it was very difficult to get off. I didn't get any irritation or anything like
It's
that. I don't know if it
oppressively
was
sticky.
because of the resin being non-toxic. I don't know if that makes a difference, but when in doubt,
The
always
wedding
wear
ring.
gloves.
Now your fucking wedding ring is gonna be resined to your hand. This looks fucking terrible. Hold on, let me turn on the display capture so y'all can see my mouse. I can already see things that even if he had gotten the fucking resin right, because he poured it in layers, you get these gross, definitive 3 separate layers. But you can also see under the white layer. Oh, y'all can't see my mouse. Hold on. Under the white layer, there's my mouse. It's kind of small, but you can see it. All along here is where the bubbles from that second layer that looked just goopy as shit just rose up, but couldn't penetrate through the top layer because honestly, the top layer probably cured first since it's at the surface. It couldn't penetrate. So there's just this massive fucking air seam between this first and second layer. And then the one at the bottom you can literally see is like oozing out. God, it's horrendous. This is why you read instructions, kids. This is why you read
That is
instructions.
it for this video. I know it was a little different than normal, but thank you for watching. Like I said, I'm working
The
on a big
water-themed
project right
resin
now.
thing
Super
didn't dry
excited about
properly.
it. Gonna get it out as soon as
In
possible.
its own way.
I will
In
be
its own
posting
way.
updates for that and behind the scenes content over on Patreon. So if you're interested in that, head over to Patreon and check it out. Thank you
Memories from
to all of my
childhood,
patrons
Mongolian.
for
Ooh.
being my patrons. I appreciate you all so much.
I kind of want to see the car one. Now that
By
he's shown
memories
that he
from
can
my
do
childhood.
stop motion. Like if
When
he
I was
can
6
do
years
stop
old, my
motion
family-
himself. So he's from Mongolia.
The first vehicle that my family had in Mongolia was one of these vans.
Listen, it's
Mongolia
a sweet looking
was a
van.
part of
Let's
the
be
Soviet
real.
Union all the way up until the wall came down. So when my family first got there, the majority of the vehicles were Russian made.
What are we? Oh, painting.
I had a hard time tracking down a model kit for this van. There weren't any people
That's actually
locally,
really
as
smart.
in
I like
Denver,
that.
that sold this kit.
That's
So
clever.
I ordered one online, and it ended up coming from Lithuania. Which
Really?
makes a little bit more sense given that
07?
they were
07?
also
God, that head pass
a
was going for a
Soviet
while.
bloc country. More
Okay.
Russian van model kits on hand, I guess.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's a cool strategy. I guess it works best because
I gave
it's,
everything
well,
a matte finish to protect the base coat. Then I started assembling. I'm a little more used to assembling Star Wars or other sci-fi related kits. So
the thing is, as he's doing this and the way he's like trying to do the voiceover, you can
plain
hear
old
he's like
normal car.
reminiscing at the same time.
It was a nice change of pace.
It's kind of cute. Oh, did it not come with lights to attach? Interesting. I would have figured that would have been pretty important for the model kit.
All of these vans are four-wheel drive, which is great because when we first got to the country,
Oh, he's using that
a lot of the
plastic
roads were
cement again.
unpaved still. We had some friends who lived right outside the city, and
Tree
whenever we got
kickers!
to their road, we had to do
Welcome in, Raiders!
6-year-old me always thought the van
God,
was
listen
going
to
to
him
roll
reminisce
over.
though. He sounds like he's almost on the verge of tears.
That was a lot
Aw.
of fun.
Oh, I feel so bad. Welcome in, Raiders. How is your stream, Tree Kicker? Space Haven, what is that? Oh, giving it a bit of grease. Giving it a bit of
After
grease.
I was done with the van, it was time to move on
Welcome
to
in,
the
guys.
other
Hope you had a
half of
wonderful
this
stream. Those of you
diorama.
from Tree Kicker stream, though, who don't know me, my name is Malwin. I'm the ringleader of the Dark Carnival. Typically, I play games that are dark, slowly terrifying.
Historically,
However, on
Mongolians
Tuesdays
are
and Thursdays,
nomads.
we do things that are a little
Their
more chill. We're
ancestors
currently hanging out watching
traveled
diorama
around the
makers
Eastern
because I want to
Eurasian
learn how to
steppe,
make dioramas someday.
Looking for a better grazing
And maybe I'll be
land
able to
for
make
their
them for like
animals.
things like charity or something in the future, or
And
even make them
they
for things like
lived
conventions.
in these houses
Because I think it'd also be fun to make like
which are
VTuber
called
dioramas, because
gers.
nobody does that.
for a couple
pretty
thousand
sure.
years now. Gers are similar to yurts, but they are a little different. If you look at
Oh,
pictures
lattice.
side by side, you can see the difference. But
Okay.
in those few thousand years that they've been living in these, the design has not changed much, if at
I was
all.
gonna say you don't need to
and they
reinvent
are
the
pretty
wheel.
Incredible.
Let me go do
The
something
basic
real quick. I'm gonna
design of
pop
the gear
out.
is a central hub
we
held
go.
in the air by two posts with a series of spokes that go from the hub and are held up on the other end by the latticed wall. There's also one door that always faces south. I've helped put a few of these together in real life, as in 1-to-1 scale, and I think you could do it with as few as 2 people, but with 3 it'll go faster.
Okay. Oh my god, Discord, stop with the pop-up. Discord keeps like fucking muting Spotify and then warning me, and it gets this bright red fucking bar at the top. We
Most
stopped your
gears
music
have
because
a
you
similar
were
set of
talking in
furniture
Discord. Did we
that
do
sits
good?
against the outside
No!
wall.
Stop it!
I made mine.
Where do
out
I turn
of
off this
balsa
setting?
wood and
It tells me to go to voice
styrene.
settings, but there's nothing there. Ooh. I was gonna say, like a table? Nightstand? Gonna do with Lurk, let you pop out and such? Let the pop out. Go have fun, Tree Kicker. Thank you for the raid. We had a wonderful time playing Space Haven.
Gears are heated using
Oh.
a stove that sits in the
Is he
center
taking
of the
apart?
room.
Is he taking apart
It has a
Star
little
Wars
chimney that
thingy?
is piped out through the top. This is also where they do their cooking.
I think this
didn't
is
have
a
a
Star
little
Wars
stove
mini
on
because this
hand,
guy makes a
so I
lot of Star
built
Wars
one
stuff.
out of an old satellite model and some styrene.
Okay, satellite model.
With
Gotcha.
the size and shape of the gear, having one little stove in the middle is actually really efficient. The temperature can drop as low as 50 or 60 below with wind chill,
Oh, still making little furniture.
and
Okay.
it'll keep you warm.
Firewood.
The gear has definitely proven itself and lasted the test of time. I also made one of their traditional instruments, which is a horsehead fiddle, or
Ooh.
moringhor, as they would call it. And you will actually hear it in the background track at the end of this video.
Ooh. Raiders, are you okay? Chat, did you say hi to the Raiders?
After all of the
Did you say hi
furnishings
to the
and fixtures
Raiders?
were done, I moved on
Say
to
hi
the
to the
fabric.
Raiders. No
I
one.
added a
No
thin
one wants to
piece
say
of
hi to
felt
the
around
Culture.
the outside to make it look a little bit more
Culture.
padded. And also because there is
We also have
actually a
the
layer
new
of felt
emotes,
around all the
The
gears.
new 7 TV emotes.
This gets pretty hot in the summertime because it is so well insulated.
All you have to do is dance.
So there is the
See,
ability
Raph gets
to
it.
roll up
Raph
the felt
gets
on
it.
the bottom.
At some point, I'll figure out how to
creating
get
a
it to
little window.
actually speed up because me and Biggles could not figure out how to get it to speed up.
Which
We
allows
tried
for
doing
a
the
nice
easy
breeze.
gift thing and increasing the speed, and even increasing it to 3,000% did not change anything visually. It made no sense. Hello, Raiders. Hi, Arcdot. Have you been lurking this entire time? How are you doing? I think there's a delay because of my internet, although I haven't, well, no, wait, no, I've dropped frames now. Before I hadn't dropped frames. This is really cute. Mound bug, mound bug, mound bug. Bug, bug, bug,
And
bug,
then it
bug.
made the door out of some more balsa wood and styrene.
Do I need
and
to
I
get,
cut out a
see if I
piece of
can get
fabric
faster bugs? Do I need to see if
to
I can
make
speed up
into
the bug?
a
So we can get
wall-hanging rug.
buggist,
A lot of Mongolians have these ornate
bug.
rugs that they hang on the back wall
bugger,
of their
and
gear.
buggist.
So I
Bunger.
put some Mod
Just
Podge on
bunger.
a piece of fabric.
All right, what are we
let
doing for the
that dry,
base?
and then I started priming everything.
God damn. I don't usually like getting paint on myself, so I'd probably be wearing gloves for this.
A lot of the furniture and wooden things in Mongolia are painted orange. I'm not sure
Huh.
what the reason is for this. I think it's maybe part style, part symbolism.
I'm gonna say maybe style, but
don't
also
know what the
maybe for
symbolism is, but-
noticeability,
I think it's kind of cool.
so that it's like much easier to notice. I guess. Marin go bug, Marin go bug.
I used a white
I tend to
gel
lurk because I
pen
like having streams on
to
for background
get
noise. That
some
makes sense,
fine
Art Top. That is
lines
totally
and
okay.
add
It's just
some
nice to see people when they
designs
speak
to
up,
the
especially because
furniture.
it tagged you as first time chatter. And I think you followed yesterday-ish or a little recently,
After that,
right?
I moved on to the
Pretty
rugs.
sure it was recently. I think I can check by, yeah, yesterday. It's just a swarm of Marin bugs crawling across the screen. I could make it like a flood, probably. I tried adding a bunch of stuff so that I could have like a bunch of little things that just like came from like one side of the screen. But for some reason a while back, it would just like bug out, which is why the parade is actually only part of like what
I
I
then
tried
moved
to
on
make.
to the
Because
ground
the
outside
program
gear.
kept fucking crashing for some reason.
Use
Like it would
a
just turn into a
plaster
black
Mod
screen, and when I
Podge
tried to render
mixture.
anything, it would just be
While
nothing.
that was still wet, I dragged the car through it to leave some tracks. I used a hairdryer
Ooh.
to speed that along. I also added a little bit more of a pattern on the door. I forgot to do that earlier.
Oh, using the Mod Podge
Also
as
added
glue.
some sand to help add texture, which I sealed in place with a water glue mixture.
Okay, now
I
those
added
tracks
some
look a lot
flocking.
better. Time to steal in the furniture.
I moved all the furniture in. And I added some little tufts of grass. And I
Red. Red is currently playing Monster Hunter World because I'm guessing he saw the... Oh, and he's playing with Mango and Vivi. Oh, shit. All right. Mango, Baron, go get coughing. Baron's leaving us again. I'm sorry, Ganon. We'll be back on Thursday, guys. Noon CST. CDT. Raid message. Here, we'll do the wiggle. I don't know what he's hunting right now, but my brain is thinking about Devil Joe. So we're gonna do we'll do the bug. We're just gonna do where's the angry pickle? Where's the angry pickle? Where's the angry pickle? Marin's leaving the meme life again. Meme life is gonna be lonely. Ganon, we're in the same Discord. If you need to message me, you can message me. But thank you guys for being here. I will be back, like I said again, Thursday. Brain fart. Thursday, 12 p.m. CDT. And we will be doing our spooky shit that day. Until then, though, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. And thank you for staying out of trouble and not scattering like Ganon is doing right now. Later.